Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? A gracious good morning to you, good people. What's happening? What's cracking? What's popping? Yeah, it's Wednesday, and it is October 1st. It's 2:37 in the a.m. And your girl is struggling this morning. I had a massive headache yesterday. I got out of bed and my head was pounding so bad I could barely walk. I think it was a drastic change in the weather and partially this herbal supplement that I'm taking to knock my diabetes down, keep my blood sugar regulated, and thus far it's working. But I don't know if I'm detoxing from insulin or what, but there's some stuff happening. I got my morning voice, got a hot cup of tea brewing right here, lemon ginger, my favorite. And I'm just going to dive into what I'm thinking about, what popped into my head this morning. And I got into the Wayback Machine. And those of you who are familiar with the cartoons, you'll know what the Wayback Machine is. And I went back to the year my mom passed, which is 2022. And there was a little time prior to that. I want to say going back to maybe 2020. So I'm trying to set the framework for you. That, what's the word Jada used? Some entanglements. Not that there were, not that there was a third party, because I am and have been single for a very long time. Yeah, I just sold my wild oats in my 20s, 30s, and I was done. I met a wonderful person, and we were together for 14 years, and that individual passed. And like I said, I've been pretty much set in my ways and happy, dedicated, static, stayed. I don't know, maybe sedentary, single. That being said, I met somebody that I wasn't enamored with, and they talked real pretty. And that's what got me. But then I realized some years later, I'm very, very polite, very, very loyal. And I was all into developing a friendship first and foremost. And like I said, they talked really pretty. And they told me all the things that they wanted to be. Now, in my hearing, which was somewhat askew, how about that word? Somewhat off base because of being enamored. I heard all these magical qualities. Okay? I didn't pick up on that's what they wanted to be. And one of the things that this individual constantly says, I don't want to lie. So when you're a truth teller, you never have to preface a sentence with that statement. And again, I heard a magical, mystical quality, not the character defect that they were announcing. There's a difference. Right? Stay with me. So I heard, oh, this person has integrity. When in actuality, this person was telling me all they do is lie. And I think the disconnect for the friendship was they got caught in it. Yeah. Some years down the road, they got caught in it. And then got upset at me because I threatened to pull back the veil on the great and mighty Oz. Now, if you're going to tell the truth, tell the truth. Tell the truth to everybody. Everybody should know the truth. But everybody didn't. So when the dots connected, for me, it spelled out the word dummy. And I'm not beating myself up because the other person is guilty of the lies. I'm not saying I was a saint because, like I said, I threatened to expose it. So, immediately after feeling stupid, for my choices, mind you, I threatened to expose. So I'm just as guilty. And I think I got to that point. I know I got to that point based on, the dots connecting. And you've heard me say this before. I saw red flags. But I dismissed it as the parade. I dismissed it as, hey, I'm walking the midway of a carnival. It's going to get better. I have faith. This person is saying this. This person is doing something absolutely opposite to what they're saying, however. And again, my hearing and my vision was skewed by my choices and my desires. See, I've gotten to a place in life now where I can acknowledge what part I played in certain things. It may take me a minute to get there. I have to say that it doesn't happen like, we're in a heated exchange and I all of a sudden feel enlightened and it's like, let me stop. No, I may go back and forth with you for a minute. And you've heard me quote this African proverb. When you argue with a fool, then there are two fools in the argument. And I've become more and more aware of that in my positioning and my choices and my own character defects. Because like I said, I'm no saint. I immediately sought to get even. And I've shared, if we get to a certain point, I can be fast and loose with the hands. I'm not going to go looking for a fight. Yeah, I don't indiscriminately just haul off and smack people in the mouth. But you get to a point where you're pushing. And you get to a point where you got the finger in the face and all that other rigmarole, or you're so upset that you think you're going to put hands. Just know that anger is always brewing. And I find that more and more with the silliness that we're experiencing today. And I'm going to get into it in the next video, discussing something that I heard on the news today as I was preparing to come into the office. So stay tuned. That was just a little snippet into the window of KB, the thoughts of KB. Disclaimer that I am not a saint and that I have character defects, as well as, being able to point out other people's character defects. I never want to get on here and say I'm like the first and foremost expert on anything. I share what I struggle with in order to highlight some things that Everybody needs to look at it at some point in time. Okay, I'll hit you back in a minute.